There's a white powder sitting on a shelf at your hardware store right now for about $1 a treatment, and it does something that should genuinely surprise you. It doesn't poison bugs the way you think poison works. It kills them by physically shredding them apart at a microscopic level, or by quietly wrecking their digestive system from the inside, depending on which version you're using. And the wild part? Professional exterminators already know this. They use it themselves. What they don't do is put it on the invoice as a $1 bag of powder, because a one-time fix doesn't pay for a recurring service contract. Think about how much money actually moves through the pest control industry every year. Technicians in branded trucks, quarterly service plans, contracts that auto-renew every season, whether you have a single bug or not. Now think about a $1 bag of powder from the same hardware store aisle as spackle and duct tape, doing a meaningful chunk of the actual killing work inside that expensive service plan. That gap between what the raw material costs and what a structured pest control contract bills you is the actual story here, and it's a lot more interesting than a fake cover-up, because it's completely legal, completely visible, and it's been sitting in plain sight the entire time. Let's slow down and actually go through what this powder is, what it really does, what it genuinely cannot do, and exactly how to use it correctly, because the honest version of this story is more useful to you than the exaggerated one. There are actually two different powders that get lumped into this claim, and they kill insects through two completely different mechanisms, so it's worth knowing both. The first is diatomaceous earth, sometimes just called DE. It's made from the fossilized remains of microscopic aquatic organisms called diatoms, single-celled algae with hard shells built out of silica that lived in lakes and oceans millions of years ago and settled into thick sedimentary deposits when they died. Mining companies dig up those deposits and grind them into an extremely fine powder that looks and feels a little like flour or baby powder to us. But at a microscopic level, that powder is made of countless tiny, sharp, glass-like particles. When an insect crawls through it, those particles scratch and puncture the waxy outer coating on the insect's exoskeleton, the layer that normally keeps moisture locked inside its body. Once that coating is damaged, the insect starts losing water through its own shell and dehydrates to death. It's a purely physical, mechanical process, not a chemical poison at all, which is exactly why it's considered so safe around pets and people. Nothing about it is toxic to ingest in small amounts. It simply doesn't work that way on a mammal's digestive system, the way it works on an insect's exoskeleton. The second powder is boric acid, and it kills through a completely different route. Boric acid works as what's called a stomach poison. An insect walks through the powder, picks it up on its legs and antennae, and later grooms itself the way insects do, ingesting the powder in the process. Once inside the insect's body, boric acid interferes with its metabolism and digestive system, and in higher doses affects its nervous system too. It's also mildly abrasive to the exoskeleton on contact, so it actually works through two mechanisms at once, part poison, part physical damage, which is part of why pest control professionals consistently rate it as one of the most reliable powders available for crawling insects specifically. Its chemical structure is fairly simple, a boron atom bonded to oxygen and hydrogen, which is also why it shows up in places you wouldn't expect, as a preservative, a mild antiseptic, even in trace amounts in some cosmetic and cleaning products, because the same properties that make it disruptive to an insect's biology in concentrated form are mild enough in small doses to be handled safely by regulators for other uses. Here's a number that actually matters, and that most viral videos skip entirely. Neither of these powders kills instantly. Boric acid typically takes somewhere between 3 and 10 days to kill an insect after exposure, because it has to be ingested and then has to work through the insect's body before it's fatal. That delay isn't a weakness, it's actually a feature that professional pest controllers rely on deliberately. An insect that dies slowly has time to walk back to its nest, its colony, or its hiding spot first, which means it can spread the powder to other insects around it before it dies, multiplying the effect of a single treated area throughout an entire hidden colony you'd otherwise never reach directly. Diatomaceous earth works on a similar general timeline, often within about 7 days for full colony effect, since it needs repeated exposure and movement through the powder to fully compromise an insect's protective coating. Now here's the part where I have to gently take the shine off the destroys everything forever claim, because both of these powders share the exact same critical weakness. And it's the same weakness for both of them, water. Diatomaceous earth works by being sharp and dry. The instant it gets wet, those microscopic sharp edges get coated in a thin film of moisture and effectively turn into a soft, useless mud smear that can no longer cut through anything. Boric acid is even more direct about it, since it's a compound that actually dissolves in water, meaning a wet mop, a humid bathroom, a leaking pipe inside a wall, or even just seasonal humidity can neutralize a boric acid application over time. This is exactly why pest professionals apply both of these products specifically in dry, undisturbed areas, wall voids, behind outlet covers, under appliances, along baseboards in low traffic zones, rather than out in the open where cleaning, foot traffic, or moisture will compromise them within days. That single vulnerability is also why forever isn't the honest word here. Both powders remain effective for a genuinely long time under the right conditions. Months at minimum, sometimes considerably longer in an undisturbed, bone-dry wall void. But neither one is a permanent one-and-done seal against future pests the way a claim like that implies. If moisture gets in, if the powder gets disturbed by cleaning or renovation, or if a new colony migrates in from outside your home entirely, you're looking at reapplication, not a magic permanent barrier. The other honest limitation worth knowing before you buy a bag of either one: these powders are genuinely excellent against crawling insects with an exoskeleton, cockroaches, ants, silverfish, earwigs, bedbugs, fleas, ticks, and several kinds of beetles. All show up consistently in pest control testing as vulnerable to one or both of these powders. What they do essentially nothing for is anything without an exoskeleton to damage, or a digestive system that processes the powder the same way, meaning rodents. And this is important if mice or rats are your actual problem, because no amount of diatomaceous earth or boric acid dust is a rodent solution. It's an insect tool specifically, and using it, expecting it to solve a completely different category of pest is where people get frustrated and assume the product failed, when really it was just never suited to that particular job. So let's get into the actual honest history of how professionals actually use this, because it explains exactly how to do it right. Diatomaceous earth has been mined and used industrially for well over a century, originally for things like filtration and mild abrasives, and its insecticidal use became well documented specifically because agricultural researchers noticed stored grain treated with DE dust suffered dramatically less insect infestation than untreated grain, since the powder was mechanically destroying the pests trying to burrow into it. Boric acid has an even longer documented track record, specifically in structural pest control, used for decades by licensed exterminators as a foundational tool against cockroaches in particular, precisely because it's slow enough to spread through a colony before killing, but reliable enough that professionals build entire treatment plans around it. Here's the part where the pest company's panicked framing actually gets it backwards, and I think the real explanation is more interesting than the conspiracy version. Licensed pest control companies aren't hiding these powders from you. They're often applying the exact same compounds themselves, in your walls, under your appliances, behind your outlets, as part of a professional treatment plan you're paying for. The Environmental Protection Agency has both compounds registered as legitimate pesticides. Food-grade diatomaceous earth even carries FDA approval for use around stored food under strict purity standards. And none of this is secret information locked away from consumers. You can walk into almost any hardware store and buy a bag of either one today, no license required, no hidden gatekeeping. What pest control companies are actually selling you isn't the powder itself, it's the service around it. Knowing exactly where in your specific walls, voids, and hidden entry points the colony is actually living. Application equipment that puffs a precise, thin, even dust layer into wall cavities through small drilled access points, rather than you guessing and dumping powder somewhere visible where it does very little. Follow-up visits to check whether the treatment actually reached the colony and to reapply in areas compromised by humidity or cleaning. Diagnosing whether what you actually have is even an insect problem the powder can address, versus a completely different pest needing a different approach entirely. That expertise is the real product being sold, and it's genuinely worth paying for in a serious infestation, a hidden termite colony, or a structural issue you can't diagnose yourself. But for a lot of ordinary household situations, the raw material those professionals are applying costs about what the videos claim, and there's no conspiracy stopping you from applying it yourself. So here's exactly how to actually do this correctly, using real application methods that match how professionals do it, not just dumping powder on the floor and hoping. Start by identifying where you're actually seeing activity. Along baseboards, under the refrigerator or stove, inside cabinet corners, around pipe entry points under sinks, near door thresholds, and around any cracks or gaps in your foundation or exterior walls where insects are getting in. These narrow, low-traffic, typically dry zones are exactly where this powder performs best, precisely because they're the areas least likely to get wet or disturbed. Use a light, thin, barely visible layer rather than a thick pile. This matters more than people expect. A thick clump of diatomaceous earth actually works less effectively than a thin, even dusting, because insects need to walk through and pick up the powder on their bodies, and a heavy clump they can simply walk around defeats the purpose entirely. A small handheld duster bulb, the kind sold specifically for this purpose for just a few dollars, gives you a fine, even puff rather than a dumped pile, and it's worth the extra couple of dollars if you're treating multiple areas. For wall voids specifically, which is where a huge percentage of a hidden colony actually lives, a small hole drilled behind an outlet cover plate or baseboard, just large enough to insert the tip of a duster, lets you puff powder directly into the space between your walls where the insects are actually traveling and nesting, rather than only treating the surfaces you can see. This single technique is the difference between a treatment that reaches the actual colony and one that only affects the handful of insects you happen to spot out in the open. If you're specifically dealing with cockroaches or ants, mixing boric acid with a small amount of sugar or a bit of peanut butter creates a simple bait that draws insects inactively, rather than waiting for them to stumble across dry powder by chance. And this bait form also protects the boric acid from drying out or scattering the way loose dust can, extending how long a single application stays effective. Reapply after any exposure to moisture, cleaning, or heavy humidity, and check treated areas every few weeks in the beginning to see whether activity is actually declining. If you're using food-grade diatomaceous earth specifically because you have pets or want to treat an area near food storage, make sure the bag explicitly says food grade, because pool-grade or filter-grade diatomaceous earth is processed differently and contains a much higher level of crystalline silica, which is genuinely a respiratory irritant if inhaled repeatedly and is not the version meant for home pest use. A realistic example of how this plays out in an actual home involves a fairly ordinary situation. An older house with a persistent cockroach problem concentrated around the kitchen sink and behind the stove, the kind of spot with just enough residual warmth and moisture to keep a colony comfortable. Applying a thin puff of boric acid directly into the wall void behind the outlet near the sink, along with a small bait mixture of boric acid and sugar tucked into the back corner of the cabinet under the sink, tends to show a noticeable drop in visible activity within roughly a week to 10 days, consistent with how long the powder actually takes to work through a colony via the slow stomach poison mechanism rather than an instant kill. Reapplying every few weeks initially, then dropping to a monthly check once activity has clearly declined, is roughly how a professional would manage the same treatment over time, just without the recurring invoice. That's the real, complete, honest version of this dollar powder. It's genuinely one of the cheapest, safest, and most effective tools you can use against a huge range of crawling insects. It's been used by professionals for generations, and none of that knowledge has ever actually been hidden from you. What gets sold isn't secrecy, it's expertise, application technique, and diagnosis. And now you actually know the technique too. Use it correctly, in the right dry, hidden spots, reapply when moisture compromises it, and understand clearly what it can and genuinely cannot solve, and you'll get real results without needing to believe a single company panicked over a bag of dust.